And we're live, like with a
Hello.
poof of little cool graphics that you guys don't get to see.
I know, but we already got 9 thumbs up, and that's what it tells us to say.
9 thumbs up. We're going to talk about thumbs down Frank tonight.
Are we?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We are going to talk about thumbs down Frank. Wasn't even my idea. So if you all are new to the Dylan Talks Tone live show on Thursdays, this is it. You're looking at it.
Surprise.
And so we're going to go over some Patreon questions. We're going to go over some YouTube questions. We're going to go over some questions that come into the chat and all kinds of other things. So let's get started.
Hello, this is Owen with Dylan Talks Tone and the live show with Leslie. On to the show. Okay, Daddy, move.
So you all say hello to Owen. That is Owen. He gets to say hello to everyone tonight. How about that?
About 20 minutes before we started tonight, his dad texted me that, and I was like, I'm going to put that in right after the theme song.
So hello, Owen, if you're watching.
Yeah,
Thanks for the little drop.
His dad should have received his clear acrylic Stratocaster with the LEDs in it today, because I shipped that guitar out yesterday. He actually called me and he's like, can we upgrade it to next day so that I can play it this weekend? I was like, heck yeah. So we did that. And then actually Thomas Tourville, who is a Patreon patron, YouTube member, and all around awesome dude, has bought a lot of pickups from me. He actually purchased the white Stratocaster with the humbuckers in it. Oh, I guess unless you're on Patreon or on a YouTube member, you haven't seen that video. That video comes out Monday. We did a video that was the reason why a Fender guitar will never really sound like a Strat. I apologize. It's been a long day.
Go with that one.
A Fender guitar will never sound like a Gibson Les Paul, even if you put humbuckers in it. So that video is coming out soon. I think a lot of people are gonna like it, and I think a lot of people are gonna not like it, but that's okay. It's factual. So tonight's the title of, you saw the thumbnail, and tonight's title, music and guitar has changed, and it's okay. We're going to talk about 21st century guitar. We're going to talk about kids. We're going to talk about the way music has changed, because I want to talk about this whole Kanye thing too. We're going to talk about the record that we listened to, or attempted to listen to for the week, the Beastie Boys record, which is actually kind of the root of this whole title. But first, let me take a selfie. We're going to get into our questions from Patreon and from YouTube members. I don't know if you guys got to see, I was on Aaron Short Music on Tuesday doing a live stream with him. That was really fun. And that thing kind of fueled the title for tonight too, because we talked a lot about digital modelers, because there's a new one coming out and I want it. And so we were talking about, the role that a lot of this technology plays, and would you actually, like, if you didn't have to haul an amp around and it sounded good, would you just use an iPad instead? Like, there's reasons for stuff to have moved on. So we're going to talk about a lot of that here in a few minutes. But we have a bunch of questions, actually, that came in this week.
Aaron Short said he's here.
Oh, good. Cool,
Is that
Aaron.
his actually name? Is that his name?
I call him Aaron, not actually short, but pretty tall. But I think his last name is Short.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But he's actually really tall. He's like way taller than me. Okay. Let's get into some questions. Brett, if P90s are dimensionally the same, does it really matter which position they go in? That's question number 1. He has 2 questions. So it depends on who makes them. The vintage P90 way is that they're both wound exactly the same, and you put them in the guitar. So that's the way I do it. And the position of the pickup is what will make them sound different. And if it's a good pickup, it doesn't matter. You can put it in there and it'll sound. You don't have to wind one hotter than the other. That's kind of a misnomer. And for example, like there are tele pickups, a lot of vintage tele pickups where the neck pickup is wound hotter than the bridge, but because they're doing different jobs in different positions, it doesn't matter. So as long as they're, so the answer is no. You can put them any way you want. It doesn't matter. And that goes for any pickup. There is no such thing as neck or bridge. If the string spacing is, now when you get them from us, the string spacing is different. So like our humbuckers, I have a pair right here. This one's a neck and this one's a bridge, but that's because this one is 50 millimeters and this one is 52 millimeters. This one goes in the bridge because the string spacing is a little wider. That doesn't mean you couldn't put this in a neck position if the string spacing was wide enough. Put pickups wherever you want as long as they sound good. Next.
He said he's 6'5". I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's tall.
I knew
And
he
then
was
but then
tall.
it's cool hair.
Yeah.
Like how tall is his hair? Because I gain at least 2 or 3 inches with my hair when it's cool.
You wear a ball cap.
You know what?
Nope.
Justin at McPherson Guitars today.
I saw his hair. He has good hair.
He has good hair, and so we were sitting at lunch, and he's like, "Do you always wear a hat?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's actually kind of a joke on the channel." And so I just kind of like lifted my hat off, and he's like, "Dude, you need to let your hair show more. You have really good hair." And I'm like, "Nah, I don't know. I'm kind of trying to keep a thing going. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe I will." Anyway.
You have good hair.
I have good hair.
Dylan with the good hair.
I really do have good hair. What are good alternative tools for putting the magnets in single coil bobbins? I use a very cheap Harbor Freight 2-ton press. It's a little bench top thing. I thought I showed it in my last video, but maybe I didn't when we did that whole tool thing. It's just a little 2-ton press. I got it at Harbor Freight. You can order them on Amazon. Like I would give you a link to order it on Amazon, but you pay more because they're so heavy. So just go to your local Harbor Freight place and get one. And yeah, good questions. Faux show. Marson of the Nuclear Village. Oh, this was in response to our thumbnail for tonight. So we'll get into this in a little bit. It's okay to like things in 2021? That's a wild statement, brother. Rebellious, I'd even say. Aren't you afraid of being canceled by all those 13-year-old enlightened rulers of the future? Seriously, though, doesn't it scare you how far away from rock and roll this new generation is? This right here, I value your comment. I respectfully disagree. And I'm very excited to discuss it in a few minutes because this is exactly what I want to talk about. Okay, awesome. Ivan says, so I think I can speak for all of your subscribers except maybe for Thumbs Down Fred or Frank, we're not sure. I think we like you and Leslie and all your content. Thanks so much, Ivan.
What was that in response to?
Nothing. They just put it in it was just on the list of where we put the questions for the show. Oh. And if they post there, I always try to share them.
Thanks, Ivan. That's very nice.
Yeah. And there was actually like 3 other people and they were like, yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. So I appreciate it, everybody. That's awesome. We like making this stuff. We do. Ivan actually has a real question. That P90 that I wound a while back. So he has watched a bunch of videos, bought a bunch of tools, and he wanted to try.
Wound a bunch of pickups.
Wound a bunch of pickups, ruined a bunch of pickups, had a bunch of like, Lucille Ball hair in a garbage can, because that's what it looks like all this red wire in a garbage can. He had to try it over and over a few times, but he got some done. So he wants to know, did I need to charge the magnets? It's much weaker than I expected following the STUMAC instructions that did not mention charging the magnets.
Oh.
That is a great question. Most of the time, humbucker magnets, well, it depends where you get them. If they're unoriented, then chances are you have to magnetize them. If they are oriented, that's what they call it, then they are magnetized. Now, here's something that you may not know. When you do a P90, if you want it to be so humbucker, I don't have any humbucker magnets sitting here, but humbucker magnets are the edges of it. You know, it's a long bar, right? And the edges of it are what is magnetized, not the flat parts. Okay? So it's the edges. So if you have one humbucker magnet that goes underneath a P90 and you have another one, what you want to do is you want to make sure that if you want it to be like south polarity, you want to put the south polarized edge of the magnet towards the screws. And on the other side, you want to put the south towards the screws. It sounds like they would be opposing, but that's what you want. If you go like this and then flip the other one over, the pickup will not work or will be very quiet. So either you have one or both of your magnets not magnetized or magnetized enough, and or you may have your pickup, your magnets physically oriented incorrectly in the pickup.
How
So
do you know if they're oriented or not?
Good question. Let me come over here to my tool caddy, and you use the Shatton pickup winder, or the Shatton pickup thing,
Good job.
and you put it on the magnet, and you find out if it's sore.
So you don't get them with some kind of indication on them.
When some of them, when you buy them, they have that's written on the side, but I always double check because when stuff is mass produced. Now, I always get my magnets unoriented and I orient them myself. I magnetize them myself because I want to have control over how strong it is, you know, and I have that little meter that
And
tells me
once
how
you
strong
load
it
them
is.
in the bobbin and you do it, does that introduce any kind of consistency or no?
What do you mean?
I mean, can they be different before that? If you bought them pre-done, could they be random in the...
Yes,
Okay.
that's why I like to get them not done, because depending on how they've sat around, or if, because they ship them in like big, you see how they ship them in like a big block, and I like to I like to be under more control of that, so I get them unoriented and I do them myself. But just make sure that they're physically in there the right way. That would be my guess, is that you've got a problem with either of those things. If you have more trouble with that, Ivan, let me know. We want to make sure your P90 works awesome, but not as awesome as mine, so that you'll keep buying mine. Jeff, so would you say the new inspired by Gibson Epiphones are to Gibson what MIM Fenders are to American Fenders, elevating them above Squier status? Yeah, probably. They're way better than a Squier guitar. I don't know. Every time I say anything about Epiphone stuff, I get completely roasted on the internet. I kind of don't. I don't care, but they are good. They are very good. And I'm gonna buy one. I'm both of the guitars that I needed to ship are shipped, and hopefully in the next few weeks I'll be picking up an Epiphone 335, and I'll show you. We'll go through it and we'll talk about the quality of it and how it is. But I would say that yeah, they're as good as what like a Mexican Fender would be to an American one. That's a good comparison probably. They haven't always been like that, and not every line of Epiphone stuff is that good, and not every model is that good. But the ones that I've seen so far, the Les Pauls and the 335s that are inspired by Gibson, are very, very good. Mr. Goat.
That's a big comment. I feel
It
I
is
should
like we have to like look over it. I hope the week is going been good for you. Two inspirational beings. My question is, if you could choose any bridge for a telly build, what is it and why? A B-16 Bigsby, because they're awesome and they look cool. They look like a spaceship. I have a few humbucker telly builds on the calendar, and I'm really not liking the prefabricated for a humbucker Telecaster style bridges. Okay, so B16 is out for you, but I did answer the question. Um, I would like a standalone non-wraparound, the pickup option that isn't garbage. Peace. I enjoy you and your adventures. Um, so if you don't want, I know what you're talking about. Like the humbucker bridges for tellies are kind of gross looking. I don't like them either. So I typically use a shorty traditional bridge. For example, a Wilkinson short bridge. They're not expensive. They're very good. Um, and that's what I would use. So it's exactly like a telly architecture. It's just the front's cut off. So you could put a humbucker in front of it. The only thing is you got to make sure your route is nice and clean because it'll be exposed. But that's what I like. That would be my favorite. Yeah. Awesome. Let's see. Vincent. Are you cool with people posting video reviews of your products? For example, if I wanted to do a set of videos from unboxing through to sound comparisons, would you be okay with that? Absolutely. Not enough people do that. And that would be awesome. I would appreciate that. Even if you didn't like it, I would like to know. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Charles, not a guitar question this week, but since you're going to be at Texas Toast next year, are you thinking of building a performance RC for a rematch with the belt sander? Your rock climber was a little bit out of its preferred element. Also, on a side note, how's the inflatable canoe holding up? I have given it some thought, and I think I do want to do something different. I had enough power, I had enough speed, and I had enough torque. It didn't hook well enough. So I don't know what I'm gonna do, but yeah, I'm gonna do something because I'm gonna beat Matt, like
Again.
since I beat him the last time, even though he thinks I cheated. As far as the inflatable canoe
He could have
goes,
killed somebody with his. You had to like run out of the street from his.
yes, it was crazy. As far as the inflatable canoe goes, we used it a lot last year, and we have not really used it this year because we've not been in the right places.
Because I don't like cold water.
She doesn't like cold water. Yeah. So we've not really.
We're definitely not on the same temperature scale.
No.
If you can't tell.
No.
Somebody's going to lose a hand this year, I predict. That would be terrible. I don't want anybody to get hurt.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to get hurt.
I'm laughing about it, but
it's going to be amazing. For those of you that don't know, we're going to go to Colorado in May, and we are going to race the belts. Now, we're going to do some pickup winding classes that you can actually enroll in. You can also actually enroll in how to build a guitar, and you will build a guitar from front to back, like from scratch to build a guitar. Not a kit, like literally cut it out and do it over the course of a week. And we're pairing it with a course where you will actually wind your own pickups. Then you will build your own guitar and put your own pickups in your own guitar. It will be a complete package. So it's in two pieces. It's the guitar course and the pickup winding course. You can go to Texas Toast. It's at texastoastguitars.com and go to their little classes tab, and that you actually enroll for their class, my class, on their website because he's handling all the scheduling. I know one of them sold out. We're doing 3 of them that month, and I know one's sold out, and I know the second one is like halfway sold out. So if you want to do it, make sure you do.
I was just thinking as you were talking about that, we're missing a value option in this thing. So the pickup class is on the weekend.
Yeah.
So we'll both be there.
Yeah.
And then you'll be in and out
Mm-hmm.
while they're there,
Mm-hmm.
potentially building your own guitar one of those times.
Yeah, I'm gonna do one too.
And filming. So then you might be in some videos. So
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man.
it's gonna be awesome.
We're gonna be there for a month, so it's gonna be a lot of content.
Yeah.
Surrounding all of that.
So if you're Texas Toast fans like we are, it's gonna be fun.
For those of you that are listening to the audio only portion of the podcast, and for everybody else, it's like prime check-in time. Apparently, because
even though we're at the exit,
yeah,
so they're going the wrong way, perhaps.
Yes, so a lot of people are driving by with diesel trucks pulling big fifth wheels. That's the noise you're hearing.
But it's beautiful out, so the door is open.
Yeah, we're leaving. We're finally to a point in the season where we can actually leave windows open and leave doors open and stuff. So
I really, really hope you did this, or we're calling you out again tonight. Are you done with your questions?
I couldn't figure it out. What
are you talking about?
Mike Ivy.
Oh, you do know.
No, I did. I did think about it, and I am gonna have to call in what do they do on the
phone a friend?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to phone a friend on that. And actually, I talked to him last night, and I forgot to ask him.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I have a super duper wiring experty friend, and we should get him on here.
Yes, we should.
He would be a riot. He would be a riot. Yeah.
I mean, he just is.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, I was gonna call Jimmy Soldo at
Paul McNary said he's already signed up. I thought I saw Gary. Is Gary Redburn in that class?
I believe he is.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, I think we have a few people.
I just feel like there are some names that have been here since I don't know. They've been here probably way longer than I've been here. But I don't know. It's just cool to see familiar names.
It is.
See what you look like. I was peeking at the Patreon class Sunday because there's some names I get to see in YouTube, but obviously I don't get to put a face with them. So
I have a question for those of you who are on Patreon already, and for those of you that have thought about Patreon and maybe didn't want to do it because it was too expensive, etc. I want to figure out a way to do this and remain respectful to the folks that have already been there the whole time on the $45 tier. But I'm thinking about opening up the monthly Patreon Zoom in-person hangout to the $10 tier and keeping it a lot more informal and and really so that you get more value out of it. And so that more people can come, because I know that $45 thing is a lot for a lot of people, but the $10 thing, there's a ton of $10 folks. Would they like that? Would you like to be a part of that? It's a thing I'm thinking about. So if you watch this in replay, let me know. I got to figure out a way to. I want to make sure that I still honor the folks that have been paying the whole time for the $45 one, but I have a couple of ideas for that to take care of them and let them know that I appreciate that. And so we're gonna figure it out. So yes, that's a thing. So get in the comments and let me know if that would make a difference, if you would join Patreon or if you would enjoy being a part of that if it was at $10. So a couple things. So we're going to talk about, I fixed my cool t-shirt. So a couple things we're going to talk about now. Let's get into this whole, it's okay to like stuff. I just want to say to everybody who follows my channel and who is here every week.
Gary said, go 25.
And who watches see, that's what I was thinking, actually. Look at $20. Everybody who watches every video and the folks that watch them repeatedly, thanks, thank you, over and over and over. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because when we put out content that is fact-based, not opinion-based, fact-based, like the difference between an Epiphone Les Paul and a Gibson Les Paul, there tends to be a growth period because of the new viewers that watch that channel, watch that stuff. And it's like, no matter what you put on the internet, they're not going to like it. You can't make them happy. And so for everybody that is happy and who is awesome and who loves guitar stuff just because they love guitar stuff, first of all, hit the like button. Second of all, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. And I appreciate the fact that many of you have been in the comments section lately spreading positivity, even to the folks that may not understand the goal of the videos that we make. Because I don't do this stuff to be intentionally controversial. I do it to state facts to take the controversy away, if that makes sense. But what's interesting I've found is that if you look through the comments, and this is relevant to the title of tonight, because as you look through the comments, what's interesting is people agree with a fact based on whether they already agreed with it or not. So, like, an Epiphone Les Paul has a laminate top. It also doesn't have very nice binding. It also doesn't have very good pickups. That is in comparison to a regular one, a Gibson one. That's a fact. It's not an opinion, it's a fact. The manufacturing processes are different. That is a fact. If you are an Epiphone fan and you love them, then all of a sudden you're going to be mad and say that I only like Gibsons. And if you're a Gibson fan, you're going to be mad and you're going to say that I only like Epiphones. Obviously, that is not the case. But it's just interesting, and that's why I put that in the thumbnail today, that it's okay to like things. It's okay to like everything. It's okay to like everything. Aaron and I were talking about this on Tuesday, about the 2-amp guys versus the modeler guys, or even a Strat guy versus a Les Paul guy, or a Ford guy versus a Chevy guy. It's okay to like what you like. It really is. And I think to inspire each other to play and inspire each other to create, that should be the focus, right? So that's what I've been kind of on this last few weeks, this last few months, actually. And I really appreciate everybody who kind of feeds that whole machine, because that's what we're trying to do. And that's why I put the thumbnail as Jimi Hendrix with Kempers. I don't know if you know this or not. I made that meme like
a long time
5 years ago. No, not 5 years ago. I made that meme when I was building Corey Alexander's son's Strat, because I made him a Jimi Hendrix Strat with a reverse peg head. And that's what gave me the idea to make that meme.
So how long ago was that?
Probably 3 years.
Oh.
It's probably 3 years ago. So I made that guitar. I made that guitar for him. I made that meme. It is the most viral thing I've ever done. And nobody even knows it's me. And my name is even on it.
Yeah.
Because I actually put my name on the peg head of the guitar. Anyway, I thought it was kind of funny. Anyway, I love that Jimi Hendrix playing Kemper's thing, because in 2021, if he was still alive, he would probably play a Kemper. That would be my guess. I bet Stevie Ray would also play a Kemper, or a Helix, or a HXFX, or something. Why? Because they would be old and they wouldn't want to be carrying cabinets around anymore. That would be my guess. That would be my guess. Let's talk about music.
Okay.
Let's talk about the record of the week.
Did any of you listen to it?
Did any
Somebody said something about it, so I think at least one person listened to it with us.
Okay. And what did Charles Wallace have to say? It would not bother me if you opened it up to more people. I'm glad I could support the channel the way I do. I also love your pickups. They're amazing. Thanks for sharing the knowledge. Thanks, Charles. He's one of the folks that I was concerned with because I didn't want him to feel bad if I opened it up.
Because he is regular.
Yeah, he's regular every week. So, who listened to the Beastie Boys record? Which one was it?
I was Paul's Boutique.
Okay, yeah. I listened to it. Well, some of it. I did not listen to the whole thing.
The same guy.
Yeah, it's that same guy. Keeps just driving around in circles.
The wrong way.
The wrong way. Did you listen to it?
Okay, I can't find the comment. I didn't know he had homework. He didn't have homework. It was just
You're gonna get homework this week.
I mean, you're them, all of us. Okay, so Beastie Boys, Paul's Boutique. I did. So my goal. So the week before, you reminded us the day before, and I felt like I was like really trying to listen to it and pay attention. So since we called it, like I like that method of like deciding tonight what we're going to listen to next. Because my goal was to listen to it multiple times, like listen to it, then listen to it again, because music is like, it's like what to eat for dinner. Like I'm a crap planner. Like I just feel like something, and that's kind of the way I listen to music. So like being told like, oh, you need to listen to this. So I figured it would be best for me to listen to it multiple times so that if my mood was different, I would hear it different, right?
Right.
Okay.
I always have a rule to listen to the record 3 times before 3 times before I decide if I like it or not.
Okay.
Like if I don't like it the first time around, I listen to it 3 times. If it hasn't bit me by then, I just don't like it. That's kind of my something new that I haven't heard before. That's kind of my rule.
Okay. I'm not that generous, but anyway, one, I also feel like this is very vulnerable. Like,
that's okay.
These people are getting to know me on some level that I didn't know we were getting into here. So I know 0 songs on this album.
Okay.
0. What year did it come out? 89.
Mm-hmm.
I was really young. And you are exposed to music of people around you. And that was, I mean, 89 was a huge, like, hair rock year. Like,
yeah,
we weren't listening
You're
to
listening
Beastie
to Guns
Boys.
N' Roses.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I knew 0 songs. There is something about music. It does have an age to it, right? So, I knew 0 of these songs, no connection to them. It's been 32 years. Like, okay, it's been 32 years. And there is probably some horrible lyricked music that I have a connection with at some level. So I would still listen to it, probably. But listening to this, I made it to the 5th track. And I was done. It was like horribly offensive. With all of the things going on right now, all the inequality and injustice, I just could not listen to lyrics that were so demeaning to multiple groups of people.
I get that.
And I was like, why? I had a level of stress. I'm not even going to look at the comics yet. I'm going to finish what I've got to say. I had such a level of stress because my goal was to listen to it more than once. Obviously, the goal that comes before that is listening to it once. And I felt like, you know, we had this commitment, like, oh, we're going to listen to this album and tell you what we think. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And I did tell him to make sure that was cool, but
yeah.
So I didn't like it. I didn't like it because of the lyrics.
It is.
I love the music.
It is.
I love their music. The mixes are fun. The lyrics that go with them is like,
Yeah, it is extremely racist and extremely misogynistic.
Yes.
The entire record. And what's interesting about that is we are not. That's why I saved that comment from earlier. We are not like cancel culture people. We are not like you can like whatever you like, but there's a lot of times where some stuff for me personally it just crosses the line and I'm just not interested anymore. You said you really like the mixes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like them.
Mm.
I did. The music has aged out for me.
That's fair.
I listened to it and I was like, you listen to that record and it sounds like somebody made it in their bedroom, which is quite possible that they did. Although I think that was their first record that was actually produced by somebody. I think the ones before it were kind of made in their bedroom, but it just sounded. I didn't like the mix at all. I thought it was like super old school, super old fashioned. Like they did it on multi-track cassette things in their hotel room. Like that's the way I felt. And now you listen to like a Billie Eilish record and it sounds like it was done in a massive studio and she did it in her bedroom. You know what I mean? Like, so between the message of the music and the music itself, I was just like, yeah, I'm kind of over it. Like,
would you have felt that way had I not said anything?
I
thought you
I
already had a tie to this album.
I did.
Okay.
I only made it 2 songs in. Before I was like, this is dumb.
So, and that's what people are, so I think people are, everybody has a different opinion, okay? So people are really shocked and they're like, this is a classic. Beastie Boys were meant to be offensive. So we're talking about, some people missed the announcement. We announced it last week. We talked about it right before we got started. We're talking about Beastie Boys, Paul's Boutique. And that's cool. Like, it's, so that this is what we're talking about. It is okay if you like this album. The point of me not liking it and people saying Guns N' Roses was probably more offensive, I get it. Yeah. They are. But that's what I knew at the time. So I have like an emotional tie to that. It's different.
Yeah.
It's different.
And it is different for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, it's, and honestly, so here's my thing on this too, is it is groundbreaking. It was a groundbreaking record. It really was.
Right. And I get to, they were trying to be offensive. That was kind of their reputation. But they also, because again, if you watched last week, you know, I mean, I actually tried to do some research to try to understand where were they, why was this created, like, to gather a different impression, I guess. You
try to dive into the creative process of
and
maybe
it
where they
was classier, for lack of a better word, than their previous album. They did do a little better. But 32 years later and knowing what we know now, it's hard to listen to because we shouldn't talk about people like that in derogatory terms. And that's where I'm at today. So that's just me. It's just me.
So
it doesn't mean anything about the music or if you love it. That's awesome if you love it. Yeah. We assumed you loved it when you recommended it.
Absolutely. And I just think it's interesting that what I love about it is the growth that comes from life does change what you like. And so, well, traditionally, and this is again why the title of this video was this, traditionally many folks will take a snapshot, and there are studies on this. I've read a bunch of stuff on this. There are studies on this where typically a person, it's like 80% of their musical choice and listening is defined and made and basically frozen in time by the time they graduate from high school.
Mhm.
So there's memes about you haven't listened to any new music since you were in high school, which is not entirely true because there's a lot of people that are trying to discover new stuff all the time. But our main influences, like our main, what we go to is that time period
Mhm.
of when we were in high school or somewhere surrounding that or whatever. And we typically attach that to some sort of memory or whatever. What the reason I'm bringing it up is because times have changed. What music is about has changed. How we write it, how we record it, how we play it, the instruments we use, the technology we use, everything has changed. And it's not a bad thing that it has changed. A lot of people try to freeze themselves in a moment in time and say there hasn't been any new music since blah blah blah. The gentleman earlier who said, "Are you afraid of all the people that well, are you afraid of canceled culture for what you say about it?" Nope, absolutely not. Number one. And number two, because I'm not canceling you, because you can feel however you want about it. I
Mhm.
don't care. Doesn't bother me. I'm not gonna force you to think a certain way just because I feel differently than you, and I respect you for that. The other thing is, the other thing he mentioned is commiserating about how young folks don't appreciate music or whatever the way they should these days. This is why I wanted to bring up the Kanye West thing. So the Kanye West Donda record that just came out is like number 2 all time in the first 24 hours streaming on iTunes, something like that. I think Taylor Swift still has the record, overall record. I listened to that record today. That one's going to take me 2 or 3 times to listen to, but I do like it. I think it's cool. The really cool thing is that he sold this thing with it. And it almost looks like an Amazon Echo. It's like $200. And I think they're sold out. And it's an Amazon Echo kind of looking deal. And you can actually, he sells you, when you buy the record and you use this device, you can separate and isolate all the stems, all the individual tracks on all 27 tracks on the record, which is genius because he is giving you, in a world of digital stuff, a tangible thing that makes you interact with the music or gives you an opportunity to
Yeah.
interact with the music. And I think that is genius. And I thought, I don't know, and everybody in my comment section is probably gonna be like, I don't really like Kanye West, whatever. I don't care about that as much as thinking about the next time you listen to a song, the next time you learn a song, um, think about how you're interacting with it because it's different now. And the technology that we use is different now. There will come a time where we don't have amps and we're just going to have iPads. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. But it's coming. It's coming. Um, anyway, I just thought it was really cool. Do you want to get into some more questions that came up from earlier?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we can.
And keep commenting in there. We'll keep talking about it. But
so Mike Ivy's question, you're going to get with Jimmy on that?
yes,
are you going to make
absolutely.
some kind of additional note to the note you made last time?
Yeah, I think what I want to do is I'm actually going to do a video about it.
Okay. Oh, it switches every time. LSA
Okay.
official. If you ever come to Seattle, it would be cool to meet you someday. Seriously, love your pickups. Seattle is a long ways away.
Apparently, my brother and Jeffrey McRickard are together right now. And so if there is any inappropriate comments that Jeffrey is making, it's probably my brother giving me a hard time.
Oh, well, that's fun.
That must be why
he's messaging you right now.
He is texting me also.
Good times. All right.
He said, "What about Limp Bizkit?" My brother texted
I
me.
saw that.
Yeah, he's like,
He
"What about?"
posted that.
He's like, "What about Limp Bizkit?"
Anyway, Rico B says, how do you magnetize them? I'm assuming we're talking about.
You use a neodymium magnet. We did a video about this a couple weeks ago, and I put links to magnets that you can use in the description of that video. You just put the magnet between the two neodymium magnets, and it magnetizes them. And then you use a Gauss meter to make sure that it's consistent from pickup to pickup. ABBA released a record today, Aaron Short says.
Yeah, people were talking about that.
That's crazy.
David Kornblatt says, do you like Marshall better than Fender tube amps?
No. No, actually, my Marshall is, I think, officially for sale. I really like it. It does a thing. I'm about to make a video about, in fact, this came up on Aaron's podcast or live stream the other day. I'm going to make a video, probably next week I'm going to shoot it, about getting as many tones as possible with as little as possible. So like I have a single pickup Gibson Les Paul Jr. or SG Junior,
Mm-hmm.
and a Marshall amp with no pedals, and we're going to get a bunch of different sounds out of it with nothing but that amp, and it's going to be awesome.
Announced, not released.
What's that?
ABBA. Announced,
Oh,
not
announced. So they're not released yet. That being said, I'll go Fender amp all day long. And if I can get, if the Princeton Tone Master would ever come out, that would be the amp for me, I think.
Mm.
But I think I do want to sell my Marshall and get something else. I'm kind of over it. It's EL84s, so I've never been an EL84 amp guy, but I wanted to try one of these. It sounds fantastic, really, but it's just not for me to test pickups with. A Fender amp does a better job of that, and it's my reference for tone, so it helps me to be able to develop pickups better than a Marshall.
Another either or question from David Kornblatt. Are you a Strat guy or a Les Paul guy?
Oh, I don't even like Les Pauls. That being said, I really want one, which sounds super contradictory. I would like a gold top Les Paul to have, to play sometimes, to maybe fall in love with, but until now, up until this point, I've never played a Les Paul that I really connected with, except for one particular guitar that my friend Jason owns, and he will never sell it to me. And so I have never found a Les Paul that I've connected with ever. And I love Strats. Love Strats. Yeah.
Okay, so they always come in the wrong order. Hang on, I want to catch this one comment.
Okay. And I have to tell you about McPherson too.
Fix This CS Marshall says,
that's my brother.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
He said, real talk, as a DJ, it doesn't make a difference. All music is offensive to someone. Exactly.
No, that's really true.
Exactly.
That's exactly true. Yeah, exactly.
I guarantee if you went through my playlist, you'd be like, I can't believe you listened to this. And I'd tell you why I loved it.
I know,
and
because
it would be random.
We'll be going down the road in the Jeep some days, and she'll start singing a song on the radio, and I'll be like, I can't even believe you remember or know this.
I know him.
That's Marshall. That's my brother.
I see it now that you've said that. Like, I'm just like in the mode of reading things, not even thinking about who the people are. That's terrible. I wish YouTube required, even though his name was there. But in my brain, when we're talking guitars and you just talked about Marshall versus Fender, my brain is thinking Marshall as an amp.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I wish YouTube would make you use your real name so I'd know who the heck you people are. Do you want to move on?
But then Ding Dong 125 couldn't give me a hard time in the comments. That's the problem. Anonymity gives them power, they think.
Do you want to talk about your subject? Is that why you interrupted me?
Oh, McPherson. I got a new shirt. Look, it's like all shiny and gold. It's pretty sweet. I got another new shirt too and a hat. So we went to McPherson today and toured it and shot a bunch of video content. So that video will be coming out soon. And it falls right in line with the subject we're talking about today because they have the most technologically advanced acoustic guitars I've ever seen. And I knew a lot of it because I've been geeking out about McPherson guitars for a long time. And of course, I own a carbon fiber one. But even their wooden guitars with no truss rod, with carbon fiber reinforcement in the neck, with the floating fretboard, with the way they do their bracing. When you see the bracing in the video, you're going to be like, wow, this is crazy. Because Matthew McPherson is Matthew's Archery. So when you Google Matthew's Archery, if I say Matthew's Archery and you are into shooting animals, you'll know who it is. Huge archery company. And I asked them today, I said, what drives the choices that you make with your guitars? I talked to the shop manager, like their production manager, and to their marketing guy. So you have the guy that actually does the work and gets it done, and you have their marketing guy together. And I said, does engineering push marketing, or does marketing push engineering? So like with a lot of cars, with a lot of musical instruments, like for example, Gibsons, Fenders, I can see a boardroom meeting happening where, like where there's a bunch of people sitting around and they're like, well, Summer NAMM's coming, so we got to have some bold new colors to release at Summer NAMM. So if you would go and like come up with a new pickguard color so we can have something to talk about at Summer NAMM, that would be great. That's not how it works at McPherson. The way it works at McPherson is Matt, the guy that owns it, literally will pop into the shop and say, hey, I have a new idea that I want to try. And the production manager will be like, that is so crazy. Let me see if we can pull it off. And they will. And it won't work. And they will smash it and start all over again. And then it will work. And they will release it. So, and then it's more of a team effort. Like they might say, okay, well, we'll hold off and release that in a couple of months or whatever. But good tone is 100% the reason why they do anything in that place. But what I love about it is they're constantly trying stuff and they're constantly pushing the envelope, whether it's because they make all their own tooling, they make all their own machines, because they have the archery company and all the machine shops that go with that, they can make all their own fixtures, all their own tools. Wait till you see like the table that they cut the tops on and like all the way they CNC machine. They have like a $250,000 CNC machine, and we're walking the room today and it's running, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's carving a neck, that'd be so cool. I go in there, it's literally cutting one nut, like one nut that goes on the end of a guitar, like that's all it's cutting.
Wow.
There's nobody around.
Out of what?
Bone.
Ooh.
Ox.
Did it stink?
Ox, yes. They use ox bone.
Interesting.
In their wooden guitars. But I'm like, this huge machine, it was pretty quiet in there today. They don't have a lot of employees. We'll get into all the details in the video, but it's a very quiet place because it's a big place and they only have, a dozen or so employees or whatever. And but I walk in there and I'm like, oh, sweet, I'm going to get some footage of, something cool being carved on the CNC machine. And it's this little nut. And they're doing it. And I'm just like, and then you go over to another machine and it's something I've never seen before. It's like a way to use stuff from NASA to create this guitar top. And you're like, this doesn't even make sense. There would be traditional luthiers that would be rolling over in their graves right now.
Names, by the way.
He is.
He said cut a nut.
Is that arena sauce?
Yes.
That's my brother too. What the heck? Anyway, it was really, really cool to think about, and their philosophy is it doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter what we make it out of. It doesn't matter the machines we use. It doesn't matter. If it sounds better, that's the goal. Like, throw everything out the window, throw all expectations out the window, and if it sounds better, it is better, no matter how they get there. And it was so cool because there's such a mix of some space age ridiculous machine and material, and literally one guy inlaying stuff with an X-Acto knife, old school, whatever. And on one side of the shop, they have all this like computer controlled everything. And then on the next table over, they have the oldest, most worn out looking night, like looks like it's from the 1800s neck jig that he's using to see if the neck is straight.
If it works.
Yeah, like such a mix, and it was so fun. And it was like, just to think about that and like make me think about, like, you know, when I'm working on stuff, like what really matters, like this material, like what this bobbin is made out of, if there's a little piece of wood in here versus whatever, like I don't care. If it sounds good, it is good, and that's all that matters. And I really love that concept. And he was telling me that that is the challenge of having a guitar that they're trying to sell to folks who are super traditional. Those aren't even their people, because they won't appreciate that approach. Like, you know, where somebody's like, well, I want a 1950s type Telecaster or nothing, and I think I need a new color of a pickguard. Like, that's not their customer, even though that guy could also appreciate it, you know, if he let himself, which I just found it super fascinating. It was really, really cool. When that video comes out, you're going to be like, dang, this is probably one of the crazier things I've seen. It was really fun.
So when's that coming out?
2 weeks.
Okay.
I have to make it, and then I'm going to let them watch it before I upload it, and then Patreon will see it, and then the rest of the world will see it a week later. So yeah, it was really, really cool. Yeah, I got to play. I think that guitar was $100,000 I played today.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I got to play. I think it was, maybe it wasn't that one. Maybe it was like 50,000. Anyways, I got to play a really expensive acoustic guitar today.
And it's new, right? Like it's not used. It's
yeah. No.
It's not like a owned by somebody
Oh,
famous
no.
type of guitar.
No.
Anyway.
This stuff is, yeah. Their basic model. They're the most like run of the mill basic model wooden acoustic guitar that I played today was 11,000.
Yeah. Entry level.
I mean, I have my carbon fiber one doesn't cost that much, but they're also selling. What did he tell me? 3 or 4 to 1 carbon fiber to wood now, because they're so popular.
It's super cool.
And they buy all of the other brands of carbon fiber ones
and try them?
Test against them. Yeah.
Interesting.
They test everything. It's really, really cool. Yeah. So when you start to see that stuff, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is nuts. Anyway, a couple more questions.
Yeah. You want them now?
Let's do it.
All right. Just Drive Sheboygan Falls says, seriously, if you guys are heading to Door County, hit me up. I'd love to get together and talk bourbon and guitars.
Well, he's on the way. If he is in Sheboygan Falls, he's actually almost on the way. Do me a favor and go to my website and use the little contact thing and hit me up. That'd be awesome.
The Guitar Hangout. Dylan, thanks for sharing your knowledge. I'm thinking about ordering an 8-ball for my Ibanez. Upon request, would you do a colored bobbin? Thanks.
I could do white. I can do black. I can do cream and black, and I can do black and white right now. We could do colors if I had them. It's very difficult to find colored bobbins that work.
Are good.
Good. Yeah. There's a bunch of like, I mean, you can go on Alibaba and you can go on eBay and you can order all these colors and you get them and they're just garbage, or the dimensions aren't quite right, so it won't sound right. Like how tall or short the bobbin is, like the internal dimensions of the bobbin's not right, and then my pickup doesn't sound right because it's not the right shape. Like, so I'm really kind of picky about that, and so it's limited right now. It's limited in the amount of colors you can get. Yeah, I have black and white and black and white, white, black, and cream and black. Not double cream.
Jonathan Knapp's question made me laugh. Hi, Dylan.
Hi.
Question for Leslie.
Uh-oh.
Speaking of hair, how are you able to keep your hair looking so good while traveling so much? First of all, I don't know who has good looking hair, but I just chopped all mine off because it's pain.
That is the hardest thing.
And it was a terrible haircut because we don't have a hair person. And water is different everywhere you go. Mm-hmm. So that is challenging also. So I'm going to answer your question by saying dry shampoo.
It is difficult. It is probably one of the hardest things.
Vinny's World says, just curious, how do you guys handle mail on the road? Do we get that question?
We get that question maybe every week.
We get packages delivered where we're at. We have mail sent to our mailing address. And USPS has this cool service where you get an email every day with your mail. And if we care about it, we will get it sent to us. But most of the time we don't care about it and it just piles up.
Yep. And then for like inventory for work, a lot of times I'll send that to a local UPS store and just pick it up. It works pretty good most of the time. Today we had a little scare, but most of the time.
Mike Cindy's is volunteering himself to be your second video shooter at the Colorado Week build class.
That would be amazing.
You should come to Colorado, Mike. Jason Clement. This might sound really stupid, but I'm genuinely curious. Is there a way to wind a humbucker to sound more similar or akin to a single coil? I love singles and P90s, but hate the noise.
Yes. Go to our website and look up Slant 6 humbucker for guitar. That is key. Basically what I do is I make it's a humbucker, but it's half of one coil and half of the other coil, but they're two coils. It's kind of hard to explain. And it works phenomenally. And it sounds very single coily. In the 50,000 subscriber giveaway guitar that we did, or 40,000, I don't remember which one. Anyway, yeah, I don't remember which one it was. The Les Paul, the Epiphone Les Paul, I put those in that, and if you look at those videos, you'll be able to hear it. It sounds just like a single coil. It is really good. Yeah, You can order a set of those, and I think you'd totally be happy with them.
All right. Less bone. Oh, I read that wrong. Lynn Bones. My bad. Since y'all travel, you should check out Kelly's Island, Ohio. And you can hit the Rock Hall in Cleveland on the way.
Yeah, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's a thing that I've been meaning to do.
I don't know what Kelly's Island is.
I don't either. So I want to get over that way because we have a bunch of folks over there.
Mm-hmm.
Dastardly Dave is over there.
Charles?
Charles Wallace is northern Kentucky, but that side.
Mm-hmm.
We have a bunch of things that we should probably...
And there is a couple that we met early in our journey that I follow on Instagram.
What am I looking up? Kelly's what?
Island. They spent the entire summer in Ohio and
said it was awesome.
The number of covered bridges and waterfalls have me wanting to go to Ohio.
Oh, it's an island.
A literal island
like
in Ohio?
An actual island.
Between rivers, between...
It's in Erie, Lake Erie.
Oh. That sounds fun.
Interesting.
Cool. Thanks, Lynn.
Yeah, dude. For sure.
All right. You ready?
Yeah. I'm going to keep that page open so we can check it out later.
LSA official. Thoughts on Music Man guitars? I've recently fallen in love with them, but get crap for that from the older guitar guys I know.
Let them be old. They can be old. You can like your Music Man guitar. This is exactly why we're talking about this today.
I think they're cool.
I think they're amazing.
So I have a personal request for no good reason except that I think it would fill a need in the market for Dylan to make Music Man bass pickups. Because they look cool. And nobody's doing that. And he should do it. And you should tell him in the comments.
You know what I want? A Music Man St. Vincent. That funky looking one.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really, 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 really cool. I just don't like mini humbuckers that much. But that guitar is really cool. Dude, like...
we got a thumbs down!
Did we?
Yep.
Yeah.
Apparently they don't like
thumbs
Music
down,
Man.
Frank. We haven't even got to use our super chat noise tonight.
Nope. How do you change... Okay, Mark Hott says, how do you change work on the wiring or change a switch on a 335? Always wonder how you work on a hollow body guitar.
Those videos are coming because I'm going to buy one. And we're going to swap all the electronics out because the more I look at it, the more I realize that it needs new pots and stuff. Even though it's CTS pots, I don't think the taper is that good. So we're going to swap out the pots. We're going to put new pickups in it. That is coming in the next couple months. And I have a bunch of pointers for that and tricks. And maybe we'll get Jimmy involved in that because he has a way that he makes his wiring harnesses that go around the F-hole and they're nice and neat. And I want to kind of copy that and cheat off of him. So maybe we'll get Jimmy involved in that. Yep.
I have to read this comment from Dastardly Dave. Says, Rock Hall is cool. Then he says, I'd meet Yins at the RRHF. Yins.
Okay.
Yins.
I'd totally meet up with Dave. He's cool. I'd meet up with most everybody. I even told a guy that was giving me a hard time in the comments the other day for wearing a mask. I was like, I'd still have a beer with you.
Y'all are awesome.
Do we get a super chat?
Y'all are awesome.
Thanks, dude.
Thanks, Jason. That was nice. We got to use the sound.
We got to use the super chat sound.
I don't remember what I'm doing, though. All right.
We're super chill tonight. I'm really tired. I had to drive an hour and a half today to go there and then do all that and then came back and worked. And then we had a short bit of drama with the UPS store because I went there And the fine young man who works there, speaking of feeling old, was like, we didn't get your package. And I was like, it says it's delivered and it says this person signed for it. And he's like, well, I don't have it. And I literally was at the point, I was real mad. I was just like, okay. So I walked out to the car. I called FedEx and I was like, yo, can we...
Yes, you heard correctly. He ordered a package via FedEx, to be delivered to UPS.
Yes, which I do that all the time. It's not a big deal. So I do it all the time. But anyway, and then I went back in there and I was like, look, they say it's delivered. This person signed for it. Blah, 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 blah. But we don't have it. And I was literally to the point like, don't make me go and look. Because if I find it, it literally was like that. And he went, and there it was. Sweet. I love his name. Hi, folks. Did you see my suggestion to do videos teaching us how to match tones? No, I didn't.
I don't even know what that means.
Please elaborate on that.
John Own 8 can't play any Roddy. Thanks for the
super there's chat. Another one.
There's another one now?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Maybe we should personally request super chats.
I actually put a deal in DAF and a Sterling St. Vincent. Sounds wonderful. Sweet.
Thanks, LSA official. I feel like I'm saying that wrong.
Thanks, dude. No, that's awesome. But that's something I should... Yeah, I want to do that. I put DAFs in a Strat last week. It was awesome. The video comes out Monday.
More questions?
Yep, let's do more questions.
Were you finished ranting about UPS?
No, that was
Bottom line, we got the package.
The package was there.
They didn't look hard enough.
Yeah. Don't make me come in there and look.
If I find it.
If I find it.
All right. Normandy Neal says, tone. Is it better to turn the amp nearly all the way up and control the level with the guitar volume?
So that depends on your amp, and that also depends on what you're going for. That is exactly the video I want to shoot next week. I'll tell you what I like to do. I like to have a lower wattage. Paul McNary, thanks, dude.
Thanks, Paul.
I like to have a lower wattage amp, like a 20 watt amp, like what I have, and then I turn up the master volume, which is, so a lot of times you'll have a preamp volume and you'll have a master volume, and so the preamp cascades into the power amp. So I like to push the power amp harder and not the preamp as much, because you get your power tubes do a different thing than your preamp tubes do. So they all work together, but I like to push the power tubes more, but I push it just past the point where it starts to break up.
It's his face vomiting. Like the emoji didn't come, or it's a sticker.
It's a sticker.
Does that mean I can see it? So we're using a piece of software, so things don't translate.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Zero. It's a sticker.
Oh, it is a sticker.
So they used one of those stickers. So as you can see here, it doesn't come through on our software, and it says face vomiting.
Yes, I was like, face
that is
vomiting.
Amazing. Oh, that is amazing. He said it's fun to interrupt.
That's my favorite part, Dave. He's getting all serious over here, and I'm like,
anyway, that's awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you, Dave. Anyway, so that's what I like to do. I like to push the power amp, the power tubes side. I don't turn the amp all the way up, just past the point of breakup, and then I use the volume and tone on my guitar. What I found with my SG Junior, with the P90, is if I do that with the Marshall and I really crank it, I can get like a perfect like Malcolm Young kind of sound. It's awesome. And then what you can do is if you want more overdrive, then you can introduce a boost pedal in front of that already pushed power amp, and you get a really nice super overdrive sound. Pretty sweet.
John on 8 can't play any Roddy says, I added a comment on the news video. I want to match the tone of my rig to the artist I'm trying to play. No experience with pedals or amps for that matter.
See, that's so hard. There's probably a lot of channels out there that would tell you what to do specifically. And I'm not your guy for that. And I'll tell you why.
It wasn't me.
Because I don't do that. And I'm not a how do you make me sound like Slash guy. Because here's what happens. If I tell you, let's take Stevie Ray, for example. Since I'm a huge Stevie Ray fan and I actually know what his rig consisted of, not like internet rumors, but I really do know what his rig consisted of, and I gave you all of the tools to go sound like Stevie Ray, you would never sound like him. You would not sound like him. You would literally have to completely change your rig to something that he did not even own so that you could make up for how he played. So what happens a lot of times with a lot of these artists that people are trying to copy is, what I don't think people realize that an artist doesn't choose most of the time, it has been my experience when learning this stuff, an artist does not choose the gear to sound a certain way. They play a certain way. They approach the instrument a certain way, which makes a sound, and then they affect it from there. So the reason Stevie Ray sounds the way he does is because he played so hard. He actually played very low output pickups, and a tube screamer and some pretty basic stuff. But his Strat was just a Strat. It was a bunch of Strats put together. Very low output pickups, and people don't know that, but it's true. Everybody thinks Texas Specials, Stevie Ray. No, he played very low output pickups. And some other things that if you set up your guitar that way, you would not sound like him. So what you have to do to sound like Stevie Ray is play really hot pickups because you don't play as hard as him. So like there's all those weird things, and so that's why people will ask me, like they'll call me and say, hey, do you have a pickup that will make me sound this way? And I'm like, I don't do that, because here's what will happen. I'll sell you that pickup and tell you you're going to sound like Angus Young, and then you're not going to sound like Angus Young, and you're going to be mad at me because I sold you the wrong pickup, which isn't really true. So I kind of stay out of those conversations because of all of that.
So for those of you on YouTube, you can see what Jeffrey McRickard sent in his super sticker. But in case you're curious what the caption is for that image, it is a pile of poop with a face.
I wonder if that was my brother spending Jeff's money, or if that was actually Jeffrey McRickard. Oh, we have another one.
It's under his name, so...
It just came in.
Are you getting stuff faster than me?
Yeah, I'm probably getting stuff... There it is.
Okay.
What is this one?
And I did... Yeah, again. So you can see the image, and 0, it says drooling face. So, do we still have that video up somewhere on Music and Mascara?
Oh my gosh.
So we used to do this thing when the kids were young. Apple CarPlay in a Jetta.
Mm-hmm.
We were like in our driveway for a long time.
Half an hour.
And they would send us texts that were tied to the car. And then Siri reads them out. And
oh my gosh.
Hilarious. And her, like, the intonation and the tones change, and
yeah.
it runs together very oddly when you put a lot of this.
A smiling pile of poo. a smiling pile of poo, a smiling pile of poo.
Yeah, it was
Like,
so
hilarious.
funny.
And what was so funny is the kids, especially because poo jokes, like Bryson would sit there and literally like send us like
Pages.
of smiling of poo emojis. And so we'd sit there and listen for
Yeah,
like
and that's
5 minutes.
that eye roll right there. That's what you want to do because it has the same cadence, right? And it's like a
Ah,
smiling pile of poop, a smiling pile, and you're like, really? How many did you send? And then it does this like a smiling pile of poop, and then it says it again, and then the next time it breaks up and it's like a smiling pile of poop.
it's hilarious. What's so funny is it. I don't know. It just got deliriously funny. It did
Yes.
it a couple of times, and the kids got such a big kick out of it. So I recorded it and put it
And
on
Zero
YouTube.
is really loving this. They keep saying so worth it, so worth
I
every
know.
time.
I see
Yeah,
that. I see that.
awesome. I
Yeah,
love
that
it.
is
It's
awesome.
fun.
It is fun.
Um,
I'd look into a Line 6 Helix if I were you. Lots of great options for tones in the presets. I think I want that new fractal.
yeah, and so a lot of people were giving Roddy some feedback based on what he wants to play. So I think he's getting some help in the comments.
No,
too,
that's
by the way.
good. That's good. I kind of stay out of those because yeah, I kind of stay out of those conversations because I can give you a direction as far as like the technical part of maybe how to get in the ballpark, but I don't like to get too specific with that. Yeah, I don't know. It's always been a weird one for me. People always ask though about that. I get emails all the time. I'm trying to sound like so and so, and I'm like,
Do you already sound like so?
I mean, I can give you a pickup that gives you a big range, and then based on how you play, you should be able to get there. But I don't like to get super specific with that. Maybe that hurts my sales. I don't know, but it bothers me to do it, so I don't do it.
LSA official says thoughts on 300K pots. I've heard it's kind of a preference thing, but I wanted to know your thoughts.
I've tried them, and I think that I'm more of a 500K pot fan than a 300, but um, it is kind of a preference thing, um, and how bright you want to be. If 500s end up being too bright and you want to take the edge down just a little bit, then a 300 would be cool. But you're so close to 250 at that point that it's kind of. I always wondered why Gibson used 300K pots, because if it was like hey, we have a box of these, we're going to use them, or if they actually designed for it, because it doesn't make sense to me.
It's going to be loud.
That's going to be loud. So we are in Madison, Wisconsin right now, and they have F-16s here right now, but I think F-35s are coming. They come over every night right about this time. Yeah, 8:30.
They came over earlier today because obviously it's dark outside, so we had no clue what we were not seeing. But yeah.
Yeah, about 8:30 every night though they come over, and enough to. I was looking it up on the internet today. Apparently, everybody in town hates it, and they're like complaining about the noise and stuff. It's loud.
Talk about your favorite string brand, please.
Oh,
David Kornblatt asks. Jeez.
I wonder if there's two.
That's more than two.
Is that a few of them?
Yeah.
Favorite string brand. So for electric guitars, I'm not real picky about strings out of necessity, because I change them all the time because I'm doing all these experiments and making all these videos. So I literally buy Ernie Ball Slinky
Go
10s.
through a lot of strings.
Yeah,
y'all.
and I buy like 5 packs off of Amazon, and I go through a lot of strings. If I was to choose a set and leave them on my guitar for a long time, I would probably put String Joys on it, 10 to 48s, or I would put the Diodario, whatever they are, the fancy ones. I don't even know the name. I can't remember. Um, whatever the fancy Diodario ones are. And then on my acoustic, I put Diodario XTs on there. I don't like coated strings, so it's finding like a coated-ish string that doesn't feel like an elixir, because I cannot stand how elixirs feel. I was playing those McPhersons today, and they all have elixirs on them, and I was like, ugh. They feel slimy to me. So the Diodario XTs on an acoustic, they don't feel slimy like an elixir, but they still are coated and they last a long time, so I like those. And I put 13s on my acoustic, and I use 10s on my electrics.
Cool.
Yep.
Mr. Goat wants to know, how do you get all your calories per day being vegan?
Oh, as you can see, that is not a problem. Chips. Chips and salsa. We eat a lot of chips and salsa. Calories is not a problem. And then the next question is protein. That's not a problem either. I haven't eaten meat since 2005. So I don't even think about it anymore. I can't even, it's one of those questions that I don't even know the answer to, because I literally live this way. So it's like a,
Yeah, so for those of you that were making comments earlier about bow hunting and killing animals, we don't do that either. It was just an example of what you might use a bow for.
yes. Yeah. You can go hunting. I don't care. And a lot of people are like, can I eat this steak and yes, I don't even care. I'm not like,
not most people. Some people do.
Some people will
but we
ask
don't
us.
care.
Yeah, we don't care. You can eat meat around me.
I
I
don't care what you put in your body.
Nah, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Yep. And I also get like, how can you wear a leather jacket? I thought you were vegan. And I'm like, I'm not going to eat my leather jacket. So,
Yeah.
It's whatever. I have cowboy boots too. I'm not going to eat my boots.
That would be so weird.
That'd be tough. They're shark. That would be tough.
Awesome. Well, we're all caught up on questions, and it has been an hour and a half.
It has been.
I think we can call it.
Yeah, man. This has been super fun. I just buy Diodarios in 10-pack boxes. Dude, they used to have whatever they called that box. I can't remember what they called it, but it was 25 sets.
Yeah, and you could just
pull strings out at a time. I love that thing, and they stopped making them. Because we used, and the other reason I stopped using them is because when I was building guitars, we were building 20 a year or so, and I stopped using Diodarios and I stopped using clear tones. Well, I stopped using clear tones because they broke all the time. They were super brittle. But I also stopped using Diodarios and clear tones because they had those little sweet tart ball ends on them of all the different colors. So here I have this like $3,000 guitar that looks amazing, and I've gone to all the attention to detail, and it looks like I have sweet tarts on it. It drove me insane. So like if you have a Bigsby or something and you could see those colored ball ends, it drove me. I hated that. So I changed brands literally so that I could have like proper little nickel ball ends. I don't remember what I went to, but yeah, I know it's a dumb thing to get picky about, but I did.
But we all have something.
We all have probably a lot of things. So anyway, y'all, this has been great. Thanks for hanging out tonight. There will be no video tomorrow because I have to ship a bunch of pickups and we have to do a bunch of work tomorrow. And then we move again on Saturday. Monday, the new video comes out about humbuckers in a Strat.
On holiday?
Yeah.
I think you normally do it still.
I do it anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. People are going to want to see that video. We got a lot of requests for it after the last one, so I think people are going to want to see it.
Keep them on
even if it is a holiday. And then a lot of good stuff coming. So
Kelly's Island, the RV park is on a beach. How do you get to the island? We're gonna have to research.
Yeah,
this.
I'm gonna literally
Thanks,
research
Lynn, for the
this.
information. We're definitely gonna
Appreciate
check it
that
out.
very much. Yeah, because we always like checking out cool places. And if you are on Patreon,
We didn't pick a music.
We need
didn't pick a music.
We need to pick a
music.
We need to pick a music. Hang on, let's look at the list.
Now that everybody's rolling out because we have these long goodbyes.
We're gonna listen to.
Oh, you're just gonna call it.
Yeah.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Everybody wants us to listen to a Beth Hart record.
I don't even know who that is.
So we're gonna listen to a Beth Hart record. I don't know which one yet.
Can't you look it up and decide really quick? So
yeah,
they can listen with us.
Let's do that. Everybody should listen to the new Kanye West record. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna make you do that.
But he did in the car today. Just saying.
It was weird, but I get it. Let's see. Is anybody giving us a suggestion already? Oh, PJ Harvey, Dry. That's what we're gonna listen to. Since
that sounds doable.
PJ Harvey,
at least
Dry.
know who PJ Harvey is.
Yes, PJ Harvey, Dry. That's what we're gonna. That was on the list too.
Than's Wayne Hussey.
Appreciate that.
Remember
very much. And
I don't even think it's Hussey. What is it?
It's well, I mean, I know what his real name is, but
anyway.
Yes. That's it. You guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out. And hit the like button or the unlike button if you're an unliker.
If your name's Frank or Fred.
Right. We'll see you.